Hey, housewives, come on in. You know the dirty dishes are still in the sink from yesterday and the laundry is still in the basket. Pop your AirPods in and make yourself at home here.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Tori.
And we are your unlikely housewives. Stepping out in faith and believing that God calls the unlikely, we are here to show you the appreciation and validation you deserve, lead you to authentic relationships, and release you of believing the cultural lies to restore your faith and wellness.
Pull up those high-waisted yoga pants, tighten your top knot, and reheat your coffee for the third time. Turn up the volume, and let's go. Hey, housewives!
Hey, housewives, welcome back.
Welcome back. This episode is really special because it's 100. Like
100 episodes.
100 episodes.
That means 100 times we sat and recorded.
Yes. And yes, that's insane.
That's insane.
That is insane. And I think so. So just so you know, there's a thing called pod fade. When people start podcasts, 75% don't make it past 10 episode.
10?
Yeah, past 10. And then there's like, of that 25% left, I think another like 75% of that doesn't make it to 50 or 100. Like the numbers.
That's crazy.
Because there are, and the number of active podcasts, which means that they've released an episode within the last 3 months, like that number is actually dwindling. So the people that started episodes during COVID have now like passed on. Yeah. And are trailing off. So it's just like all that to say that yay us for persevering. And
persevering is right. Because there were many times that we both, on separate occasions, which is why this is like such a God thing that we're still doing it. Because I think the both of us held each other here, like kept each other here. Because at one point, one was like, I'm frustrated, and not with the podcast, just with life in general and the weight of showing up, right?
Yeah.
But then the other one was like, nah, we got to keep doing it. I'm not ready to shut the door. Like, I don't feel like God's, called us to do that yet. And here we are. Like, and I think one of the coolest things about 100 episodes is reflection. Celebration, reflection, just like looking back how far we've come, how far we've grown, just the silly things that we've done along the way, stupid things we've done along the way.
Including today. We've done some stupid stuff today.
No, we did it. No one knows.
Come back, guys. I'll tell you guys later. No, but you're right on the reflection thing, because I don't think that if we weren't celebrating this milestone of an episode, I don't think we would have come to the same conclusion.
No, not at all.
And I don't think we would have sat down and reflected anything, because we just would have kept going. And the feedback that we've gotten from you guys, you loyal listeners, about what you want more of, or the questions that you have, really did make us sit and think and go, it has changed from the beginning and where we're at. And
which I think, you and I both listen to a lot of podcasts. So
yes,
it is normal what I see and hear from all these other podcasters, you grow and you change and you talk about different topics. But I think one of the coolest things we just came up with, like, hey, we really got to highlight the 100th episode probably like a month ago. And we've continued with our guests and things. We're like, how perfect that this 100th episode is at the end of a year and we can reflect on the year and yada, yada, yada. And then we, put it out on social, like, hey, like, ask us anything. Like, we just thought we'd do like a fun, ask us anything episode for this. And then what we really got was like some real heartfelt, incredible responses of like, hey, like, love this guest or love that guest, but here's what I would love to know more about from you guys. And we're like, oh, we don't talk about that.
Yeah. And we talked about how, like, having guests on were certainly for selfish reasons, because they were people that we wanted to talk to and have those conversations with. Mm-hmm. But and there is some homework and some like prep that goes with it, but there's not as much prep for that necessarily as when we do an episode just ourselves and talking through and brainstorming and going, okay, so, we talk a lot on here and we're fairly open, on some stuff, but some stuff we do keep private because that's, this is for the whole world. This is not just.
And it doesn't go away.
Right. Once it's on social media or on the internet, it never disappears.
No.
So you have no idea who screenshot, recorded, or
hopefully not that face I just did.
I'm going to screenshot that one for you. I'm going to make that the profile when you call me.
Oh, well, celebrate.
Hey, yeah, I was going to say.
So every year we have popped a bottle of champagne and celebrated 10 episodes. We did 10,000 downloads.
Yeah.
We've done 2 years. We celebrated and we've passed 3 years at the beginning of this month. And now
we passed 3 years recording. We didn't because we recorded and then we waited 3 weeks to release. So like December 7th, I think, is actually our anniversary,
which this will be out after.
Yeah.
So
but we're
just
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. So I am still going to pop a little,
bubbly
if I can open it. Because I got the single one because I really don't, no need to
She's
have
got to
a whole
drive
bottle
home
of
after
champagne
that.
by myself. However, Tori has a non-alcoholic champagne.
I do.
And she is on almost 1 year of
1
being
year,
sober.
you guys. 1 year. I'm
Gonna use my teeth.
Yeah, go for it. So that is an incredible story. So I'm gonna hold on. I'm twisting my knuckle. Oh, you hear that? Lovely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't. There's so many wrappings.
I like
done this before.
mine was clearly not childproof. Tracy's is Tracy's proof.
I'm really glad you didn't call me a child. You just said it's Tracy's proof.
Yes. So one.
Hold.
Okay. No. No, there was no.
There was no.
There was more on the non-alcoholic.
Yes, that was more.
Okay, would you pour yours already? Then I
am
actually just drink it out of the bottle. That's just
no. I gotta keep it classy.
Keep it classy with some kind of, and we'll cheers. But Tracy's right. I haven't posted anything about it on social, and
or shared or really much on here other than like, hey, I'm sober.
Yeah, which is a fun story. Here, let's cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Yay, housewives.
Cheers to 100.
We're here.
And
I'm so happy that we're doing this.
I know. It's crazy. Okay. So the story with the choosing not to drink. So one of the episodes that we brought to you guys was the episode of the Tan family and their daughters, Sydney, who received a kidney transplant from her mom, and then the need of Olena needing a kidney transplant. And as of right now, to give you guys an update, Olena she's going to need a transplant in January or February. And right now, Dad is the donor. However, if they can find a perfect match, they really want to. So, for medical reasons and the fact that both parents would have done a transplant, they prefer it not to be Dad. But so if it's still, I don't know if God's still tugging on somebody's heart to be, to just go to a hospital and see if you can be matched. It is still, they are still looking for one, but right now Dad will be the donor as of right now. But all that to say is in January, God put it on my heart to get tested, and God put it on my heart to just respond or just say, hey, what does it take? And so I actually went through all the testing to see if I was a match for Olena. And it was way easier than I thought. But when I was going through the testing, because you fill out a questionnaire first, and then you take your blood pressure for 5 days. Then you go get lab work done, and then you might need more lab work done and all that. I decided during that time I was going to stop drinking. And so that was January 18th of 2024. And today is, beginning of December, and I still haven't drank.
Not to say she hasn't wanted to.
Correct. I have been. That could be an episode all on its own.
My favorite texts are, Tracy, give me encouragement so that I don't drink tonight. And then I'm always like, stay sober, stay strong.
Yeah.
You got this.
As she's drinking her glass of wine. Because, but yeah, so it was one of those kinds of things that God just put on my heart. And so I, through the testing, and it was like 4 months over time. And then I was like, I'm not going to start again. I feel better. It's something I was kind of using, like, we can use as a crutch very much. We use it to numb out. We use it to chill, or we use it as an excuse.
That's more than alcohol. That's social media. That's all kinds of other
right.
It's binge eating. It's, there's so much.
There's so much we use. And so I actually got an app that I like, and it has a reminder on it. And it's like, why am I doing this? And for me, the reminder is that I don't want to go to something else before God when I'm stressed or when I'm, and because I wanted to get my peace from God and not just check out and mark a box when I was going through something. Cause you know how much I like to feel things. Yeah, I don't like to feel things. So alcohol would help not make me not feel things. So yeah, that was
such a crazy beginning of the year, honestly. I mean, from a friend who is supporting, a friend who was just literally listening to God and, jumping into, try to be a donor. There was a lot of questions. There was a lot of challenges. There was a lot of hard conversations.
Yeah.
But ultimately it was just, prayer. And the result was that you were not a perfect match.
Correct. So I am not a perfect match. I could potentially be a paired donor. However, the numbers of when the last time I did they looked at my kidney evaluation, there is a specific number that was it within the line of error, but they didn't like it. So,
and it was going to require additional testing
going the one specific lab that has it. And I would have to travel there and get that done. And then to see if that would be. And God still hasn't completely removed anything from my heart. But when to talk, it's not like, this is not just like, oh, hey, I'm gonna donate, a pair of boots. This is like, this would be major surgery. It would. So I had conversations with my family about it. Of course, my first and foremost fear, is what about my girls? Mm-hmm. And if something were to happen to them, and if I weren't able to get, here coming the year. But it was amazing how God took that fear away from me and gave me such a peace from the get-go.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like, how at peace I was about that, because he immediately gave me this, like, I have always provided for you. Why would I not provide for you then? Mm-hmm. You can't outgive God. And so that was never, it was a fear, but thank God he gave me such a peace about all that, because I don't think I would have made it past filling out a survey if there were any questions. And, and sometimes when God gives you peace, he doesn't necessarily give everyone around you peace at the same time.
Yep.
One of my favorite things is, sometimes our calling is not a conference call. Yeah. And that's really annoying when you're like, hey, God, can I put you on speaker so the people around me can hear you say this to me? Because that would be. Right. And so you have to have tough conversations, and you get put in awkward situations. And so God is just, again, we continue to pray for Alina, and I'm going to just continue to see where God takes me on that. I think I could wake up tomorrow and God say, here, here's a plane ticket, you're going.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not closing the door completely. Sorry, family.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to God's direction on that.
Yeah.
But so we'll put in the show notes too the TAN's contact information. So if God is pulling at your heartstrings to just get tested and just, fill out a questionnaire, you don't know that you can do that.
Yeah.
But that wasn't our only.
Cheers to you. Because that was a really big decision and something that I know you struggled with. I know the family struggled with. But it's also brought so much goodness to you too. God obviously has you've been sober for a year now, almost a year. That was not something that was a need.
Right.
It really wasn't.
No.
You weren't, you turned it down way more than I do. But all in all, I think it's been awesome to watch you do this. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you. And I have a dry Prosecco.
And I found it for her.
She did.
So I supported her in her.
Yes. And I have to say that, okay, so two quick stories about it. One is, something else I've gotten myself into. That's the wrong way to say something God has gotten me into. Let me put it that way. A door that he opened is a program called the Eisenhower series for women. And so that has recently just started. And one of the toughest times, okay, this was crazy. The first session I got to meet all these women, and it's 20 of us, but I got to meet Eisenhower's youngest granddaughter. Eisenhower was our president.
I know. I was just making you say it.
Okay.
You just said his name.
Sorry.
Say it was President Eisenhower.
President Eisenhower granddaughter.
Yeah.
His youngest granddaughter, Mary Jean. And she came and talked to us and told us these personal stories about things that, growing up in the White House when she was visiting, her granddad and things. And it was just darling. But one of the things that she also talked about was her grandmother would always loved Four Roses bourbon and would do old fashions. And they had a bottle of Four Roses bourbon. And so everybody took a shot, cheers with Mary G. And I was like, no. But I did it. I did it. And it didn't matter.
Yes.
And then also I'll say too, the other thing that hit me real hard, honestly, was it was your birthday. It was my birthday.
Yeah.
It was my birthday. We were celebrating my birthday with our Bible study crew. And Trace brought these Prosecco.
We like to have mimosas for birthdays. We do, there's 6 of us, and we have brunch and mimosas and celebrate birthdays and, just intentional. And
yes,
we have for years done this.
Exactly.
This was her birthday. And
she brought, and I normally, when we do, I will bring my non-alcoholic beer because it's weird. It makes people feel weird when you're not drinking or around them, with them. And I don't know why.
Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, that is, I get it.
It's but anyways, so she bought me, and it honestly is the most touching thing. And it made me cry because I was just like,
Tori cried.
I know, y'all, because I was like, it was the first time that somebody had thought of me. I had this for you. It was, not it's okay. I brought my NA, but and I was just, that was really sweet. And I'm going to tear up thinking about it again.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Okay. Well, let's switch gears.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even really switching gears, but we have reflected so much in the last week and more so in the last 48 hours.
For sure.
Getting to this point because we're talking about how we started, what the podcast looked like in the beginning, who our audience was, has it changed much? And just asking ourselves a lot of questions okay, let's look at the 100 episodes and what worked, what didn't, what were our challenges, what were our victories, all those things. And then where do we want to go for the next 100? That's exciting to think about, but also we have to look back and see what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of already talked about it. We've had some incredible guests on here. A lot have been specific to our needs and what we want. Other things just we know that our friends are dealing with are, just
or doors opened.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Like, holy cow, how did we get Mark and Jill Savage on here?
Yeah.
Like,
that was from 10 years ago, door open for me, when I first met her. And then Ken Valentine and you meeting his
and the author
on the airplane.
Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
Yes. And Seth, who I had followed.
Yes. And then he lives in Kansas.
And now he lives in Kansas.
Yes. There's so much that this is why and how we know that God is in this, because he just keeps opening doors. And it's so funny because we need to do more thinking of more of those things. Even my husband, he was at one of his things for his Spank the other night and just texted me. He's like, oh my gosh, you got to have this person on your podcast. He was talking to someone else and it was just totally what, we would love to have. So that brings us to just hey, we're going to be open with our listeners, because some of the feedback that we got is just in their reflection was hey, we want more of just the two of you. And we're like, wait, you do?
Yeah.
Just us? Why? When in the beginning, all it was us. And it was stuff that we were going through, and it was COVID, and it was motherhood and marriage. I mean, these are the things that
it was day-to-day stuff.
Day-to-day and just hardships. And I think there's this weird shift that just happened over the last 3 years. And I don't even want to say weird. It's just natural growth. When you think about where your life takes you, and this is my wise 40-some-year-old person talking, she doesn't know anything about this yet. I joked a lot about
yes, we do. And it's fine. I'm the baby.
Yesterday's moment was when we were talking about an app that we got that my daughter's obsessed with. Huji, it's HUJI.
Oh, yeah.
It's this old, a digital kind of old photo thing. And I was it says 1998 on it. So I was taking pictures of my daughter, and I think it's so awesome. That was the year I graduated high school, and she just busts out laughing. What were you, 12?
Yes, I was 12. 1998. Yes, I was 12.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, just saying that how far we've grown in the things that we've done since then till now. We've had this natural progression of life of okay, well, my husband bought a business. You and your family invested in a business that you run. It's just, it is one of those things that so much has changed. I now have 2 full-blown teenagers, a preteen, and I mean, if you call 10 a preteen, we're calling it that, because I feel like I have a house full of teenagers, because everybody acts the same, raging attitudes. I mean, my kids are so joyful and loving all the time.
Oh, they're so wonderful.
Okay. Anyway, we've just had this weird progression where we started having guests because we wanted more and we want to provide you more. And then it just turned into just guests.
Yeah.
We literally don't know how that happened. We loved all of them, love them. We, plan on still having some incredible people on in the future. But I think we're going to just really, jump in January.
Yeah.
Bring in the realness.
Again.
Going back to some more authentic Tracy, Tori life.
Yeah. Because not that we don't get to talk about that with the guests. I mean, you get slivers of it with the guests, and in certain. And I think too, this season, because women are all about seasons, that you're
not talking podcast season. You're just talking about season of motherhood.
Season. Yes. Okay. I'm in or era. Right.
Oh,
thank you, Taylor. I know. We can say that as Kansas Cityans.
Yes. Sorry. We see a lot about Taylor around here.
Yes.
I just love Travis.
Yeah. Sorry. Just good. It's good. You can love Travis. It's fine too.
Mm-hmm. He's on my fantasy team.
Oh, I'm really glad you finished that with team.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to bring you more of that because the, COVID is, I'm going to say it's not a thing anymore. It's not a thing anymore. And so
it is. This is the weird thing.
No, but I'll say
it's the trauma from it still is resurfacing.
I don't know.
It's not in the world.
But I think, they literally came out on the news, 2 days ago, and came out with a report and said, hey, so this is the subcommittee and this is what we found out. It actually was a leak from the Wuhan lab, and it actually, they were testing something gains or whatever from it. And and the rate of death was actually less than, is like 1% instead of the 5% that we kept saying everywhere. And so go look at the report. It's incredible. It's out there. But we're I think after this election, there is this deep sigh of like a deep breath. It's a deep breath.
Yeah.
And people are like, okay,
yeah,
we feel just a little bit lighter. We feel a little bit like stronger. We feel a little bit. And so I feel like people are going, okay, I don't have to worry that the world is ending like yet.
Yeah. Well, and I want to go back and say, because I actually said on here, we went just a more Tracy and Tori episode. Okay, mind you, we know this is not about us. I have to preface that because we were even saying it yesterday. It's like so many women, and if you're a housewife and you're here, like you get it. Like there is so much you walk through that you feel alone in. And we are prime examples of that. We're just two people who aren't afraid to talk about it. And so we are here being, vessels to just share that news, share the, hey, you are not alone, and to share the good news of Jesus. Like this
Amen.
is life, and this is what we want to talk about. So we want to do some more authentic, messages. We want to talk more about the struggles that we have in our worlds and how everything points back to Jesus and how we are praying and walking with him, or even battling our own demons, and the struggles that we're dealing with. I think the guests allowed us to hide that a little.
I think so.
Not that we're hiding it from y'all.
No. We were content.
Yeah.
It allowed us to get into a comfortable space.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, being comfortable is easy.
Yeah.
It's the uncomfortable. And we've talked about, I've talked about that the last year. I've tried to encourage others to be like, you're not the only one that feels that way. So wear it on your sleeve. Like, I've done that with multiple things, and they're like, wow, good for you. You're brave for wearing that. I'm like, no, do you know how nobody says anything negative about this. Like everybody agrees with me, but they're not saying, I'm just saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that. I wore a shirt, we went to San Diego with our daughter. We took her on a special trip here just about a month ago. And I wore a shirt that just says gratitude, 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 gratitude. I mean, it is literally a black shirt with white gratitude all the way across it. And I had a guy walking through the airport. It was his wife and a couple kids. And he was like, hey, I love your shirt. Thanks for the reminder.
Oh,
and I know. And I was like, and the only reason I wore it is I bought couple outfits for my daughter for her trip, and I bought her a sweatshirt that just says gratitude, and we both wore them on the way to the airport because we're very grateful for the time that we got to have in that special trip.
Yeah. And
like that was the intention with it, but what it led to, I just thought that was so cool. I'm like, he's gonna take that, like maybe I don't know, maybe they were running late for their flight, or maybe they were stressed out at home, or I don't even know.
Yeah, you have no idea what he was going through.
But it was like, hey, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like I loved that little moment.
And that's the cool thing. Like I love these stories that we're privy to, and when we get to see the other side, because so many times we won't ever know on this side of heaven why God led us to do something. Henry, one of my big things as of late is our job is obedience. That's it. That's it. Our job is to obey and to be obedient in what God called us to do. And the results are his, period. End of discussion. He very well may be calling me to a season of like, I'm calling you to do this because you need to fail at it. for some purpose, for some reason, but not every obedient action results with quote unquote success.
Yeah.
And that's biblical success versus worldly success. Success looks like, yay, we're making money. And,
I was just going to say, can we define what people think as success?
Yeah.
Like you don't know how many times listeners like hear this. How many times we get people ask us, are we making money doing this?
Yeah.
Like, because that's the only way that our podcast is successful is if we're making bank.
Right.
Like, sure, we would like to, a little. I mean, that'd be nice for the time.
Could we, Lord, if you guys could just help us pray that we break even,
that would be great.
That would be great. But we've said that from the beginning too, that this is always a labor of love.
Right.
Yes. While it is there, this costs, when we say yes to the podcast, this costs us, yes, financially on things that we invest in to do this, but it also costs us our time.
Yeah.
And there are other things where, because we say yes to the podcast, we say no to other things. And God is continuing to let us know that, no, you've set this time aside. I can't tell you there are so many functions that I could be at on Tuesdays and Thursdays that would help our print business, our print shop. But we set aside Tuesdays and Thursdays for podcast days. And there's times that we can make it work and make it, and I can do some of those things. But like, God is like, no, this is not where, and I'm like, and that's different.
Yeah.
That's different.
It just from like a personal standpoint too, like we could talk a whole story about the last year that I've had with my son who's had multiple broken bones. That's a whole nother episode to talk about all of my son's broken bones. But there was a lot this fall that even led to after he got hurt and then PT. I had to schedule PT. And of course, the only availability was Tuesdays and Thursdays. And again, it was only 6 weeks. And, he's about to ring the bell this next week. Woo-hoo! But it's been a thing. And it's been a challenge. Like, there's challenges in that, there is challenges in, our travel schedules. Like, can we talk about that? Like, I'll be gone a week in September. She'll be gone a week in September. And then before you know it, like the only thing that was available was 4 days.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Okay,
so September was a hard month. Like, and then two, our family schedules and we do this during the day while the kids are at school. And then while our husbands are at work, so because it's actually quiet, because my house is not going to be quiet, but then and if there were other people here, let's put it that way. So, and I wish y'all could. One of these days, I will just show you like how cute our background and everything looks, and then it is a hot freaking mess on the other side of the camera.
One of those time lapse or whatever, where it's like just watching us set it up because it transforms into her like dining. It's not dining room, but it's her old dining room, sitting room.
Yes.
But then Tuesdays and Thursdays or whenever we record, we transform it into our studio.
Correct. And then and then depending on when we're going to record again, I will take it all down and just, and move everything back. And yes. So it's interesting. All that to say is that God has continued to show us that this podcast is where he wants us to continue it.
Yeah.
And
thank you to the loyal listeners and those that pop in every now and then for giving us feedback, because we love doing it. We know we're called here for now. We want to keep going, but we want to hear also what you're taking away from it too.
Yeah.
And I think that is, where we want to get a little bit more personal with you all through this, because in our first season, we were hearing more things from you of like, oh my gosh, that was so good. I tried this with my kid, or I did that. And we don't like, you may be doing that from the guests, the ones that we have on about, how to co-parent if you're, going through a divorce, or healing from narcissistic abuse, or like, just different things that we've had on. Like maybe you are taking those away, but you're not necessarily coming back to us with it because it's a personal thing for you. And it was just the guest that was speaking. Whereas if we are getting more personal with you guys, hopefully you'll feel more comfortable coming and saying to us like, hey, I loved that. Or even like, oh my gosh, that hurt. Like, whatever. Like we want to hear it because we do this for the glory of God.
Amen.
And in the hopes that you're encouraged.
Yep. And it all goes back to you are not alone. We started that with, that as our mission.
Yeah.
And because we felt so alone and we wanted to know that these are the conversations that people are having behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. And, it's me texting Tracy and going, oh my gosh, are club sports really this time consuming? And do I really want to do, what is this like? And her going, yep. And it's the text messages. Oh my gosh, the text messages last night. I love
which one?
My bail money text message thread.
Yes, that was good.
I texted them like 3 pictures because I have a business gala tonight, and I said, okay, which one? And they give me their opinions. And I said, okay, I think I'm going to go with this black and white one because then I don't have to worry about my boobs. And then I got my people that are like, oh, good, because I was worried about a nip slip on the stage. And then my other friend chimes in and says, dinner and a show. And then I just like, great, now I'm going to be having nightmares that I'm going to be on stage and that's going to happen. And then the other friend
But you won't have to if you wear the black and white dress.
Right. So which is why I'm wearing the black and white dress now, no matter what. But it's just these. And a friend made the comment and she goes, oh my God, I love this text so much. And I was like, yes, because this is real. Yeah. Like there are these people that are going to say that to you. And, like you need those people in your life. And if you don't have those people in your circle, personal or that's in a text message thread, like, we want to be those people for you. We want to be the ones that will say, hey, think about this before you do it because I did this accident. Like we want to be your bail money thread. Like, because
I don't have the money for that.
No. And I don't either. I slowly am stocking away because it's just a matter of time. And so I've told them I'll let them know where the cash is. And that most likely because they know me, one of them will be in there with me. So I was like, it's going to be good that you guys all know each other. So yeah, because you are the most local. You're the closest. Mm-hmm. So
I'm not the most troublemaker though.
No. I will. There's 2 in particular that I'm thinking of, and I'm going to make sure y'all listen to this part.
Yes.
And be like, those are you 2. So, but yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah. We want more real, more authentic, more personal. I mean, that's what we want in our lives. And I think that we have to create that.
Right. Because nobody's, and I think too, for us now with we personally not being on social media.
Oh yeah.
And sharing those personal things on social media, I think that this is going to be to encourage others that to have that authentic and that relationship. You don't have to be sharing it on social media because that's fake anyways. Mm-hmm. Because you and I have more authentic relationships now, I think, since we've set most social media aside because we're not giving energy to it. Mm-hmm. And I can be more real in person with like my friends and things like that because I'm just not thinking social, like, oh, I've got to post this or, oh, I need to take a picture of this.
Totally.
Or, like,
I love that. That's what's given me so much more present peace back. And I'm so much more.
Because it's been how long since you've been off?
June 1st.
June 1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's so funny because I wasn't going to do a Christmas card this year. And this last week, I just did. I'm like, I'm not doing it. And I don't think I did one last year. I do them every now and then. And then I got 2 this week. And I was like, oh, I haven't talked to them in so long. And I was like, boom, there it is. It's because I'm not on social media. I miss some of these people. And I'm like, okay, I cut my list down big time this year because I used
to. So if you don't get a Christmas card from Tracy,
please don't be offended.
It's because stamps are stamps are so expensive now.
But also, to be honest, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, social media was a touch point for a lot of people. I've moved, from home. I moved away from home. I traveled the country after college for my job for a year. So I have connections through all that, which those are the people that I stayed in touch with on social media that I haven't talked to since. I had Chicago friends. And there's just so many different things from church there and just different people where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not connected with them on social media. So I want to send them a Christmas card and just say, hey, and think I did a little snippet on the back of the card of just like, what the heck this year's been up to and saying like, hey, I went off social media so that it's like, wait, where did she go? Because it's funny enough, ran into somebody a couple weeks ago and they're like, oh, I haven't seen a lot from you. I'm sure you've been busy. And I'm like, no, I'm like off.
Like gone.
Other than unlikely, we share stuff on there, but I'm not on it. I use MetaSuite. So it's like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point because I'm working on our Christmas cards now. And I think the idea of doing a little bit snippets of each of us and then saying like, this is what we've been doing as a family, but also saying that like, you can't like, while we're not on your wild Tories, because people who do follow our who are family friends or,
don't live here,
that don't live nearby or you don't see them, they're the one phone call every 6 months kind of family. And you're like, and again, when people are out of quote unquote the algorithm, like you do forget on who, or so when somebody texts you, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I heard from you. You know what I mean? Those things.
Well, that's happening now. Like this is what I do. I just text people, say, hey, I haven't talked to you in forever. Let's get a call on the books, and I set phone dates now. And it's usually I schedule them while I'm driving because I do a lot of driving. Or it's, hey, I'm having coffee at this time and I'm doing my dishes or folding my laundry. I'm multitasking. But that is what I'm doing to connect with people. And it's so much more real. And it feels so good to like hear people and talk to people versus just, a post.
Yeah.
Or a snippet.
Well, and I think the landscaping is changing to where I feel like even as owning a business, like I don't have to promote my business on social media. Not saying that it wouldn't help me, but it's not a platform that I have to. I can have a presence there. Sure, I might get a couple of, clients and stuff like that, but it's given me such a I go to networking events. I probably go to 2 to 3 networking events a week, and I'm building relationship with people versus trying to influence others to click on a link and to just go to my website to do this or I want to use it. Like there's so much business wise, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
It's running a business on social media is, or if social media is the only way that you're conducting a business, it's just not the same. And I think so I've learned that, I think, too, and reminded myself that it's not all on social media. Like there is world outside of social media.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a big one for next year for us, starting 2025.
Yeah.
Without it, obviously.
Personally. But we're going to come
because we're still sharing on art.
Which we are, she's not going to have it on her phone. I have it on my phone. But so we're going to try to do some stories more that are, just in the life, because those are just little things. Because, I'll share my dog park walks. I've missed sharing those with people and going on my little diatribes. Is diatribes the right word? I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Look at me trying to use vocab. But here we are.
Yeah.
So,
cheers to 100 years.
You did it. Cheers to 100 years. Oh, good Lord.
Cheers to 100 episodes.
Cheers to 100 episodes. May we not live 100 years.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to live 100. Nobody wants to live to be 100 until they're 99.
That's true. Oh, I like that. Did you make that up?
I've used it for a while. Oh, but nobody. I don't want to be 100. I don't want to live to be 100.
No.
Is that something that is that a life goal for you?
No.
No.
Let's just make it 100 more episodes.
100 more episodes. Let's start
and
there.
Then start there. And let's see where we're going to go.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be 40 by then.
I'm never turning 40. Because when I turn 40, what? That'll mean you're getting closer to 50.
Shut up. I shouldn't use that word.
It's all right. It's fine. We still love it.
Oh, housewives, thank you for being with us for 100 episodes.
Yes, thank you so much.
To 100 more.
Yep, here's to 100 more.
Cheers. Until next time, housewives.
Until next time. Bye.
Whether we made you laugh or cry today, we pray you feel appreciated, bolder and braver than yesterday, stronger and more faithful for tomorrow, and living in who you were made to be today.
Join our online community on Facebook, link in the show notes, and be sure to review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you enjoy listening. Until next time, housewives, we give you permission to walk confidently, free, and to be intentional in your slippers or stilettos.